This is VFL Weekly Wrap for round 13. We'll go through the scores first. At Cardinia Park, Brisbane beat Geelong by 32 points, 16-21, 117 to 12-13, 85. Brisbane kicked 6 goals, 7 in the last quarter. Now, Olympic Park, Collingwood knocked off Sandringham by 3 points, 14-9-93 to 14-6-90. Sandringham had 24 more clearances. Charlie West for Collingwood kicked 6 goals and he kicked a winning goal after the siren. For Sandy, Hugo Garcia had 27 possessions, 12 tackles, 14 clearances. Collingwood were 45 points up 8 minutes into the third quarter. Heartbreak again for the Zebras. Sandy have lost 2 games after the siren this year. Collingwood get out of jail. Match at Point Gellibrand, sort of rivals. Duke it out. Williamstown too good for Werribee, winning by 21 points. 13-15-93 to 11-6-72. Now, this was Williamstown's 2,600th match in VFL. And that was win number 1,411. Now, Werribee won the free kick count 33-15. Despite the loss, Don Brew had an incredible game again. 33 possessions, 16 tackles, 13 clearances and a goal. Jack Riding, his teammate, 36 possessions, 11 tackles, 7 clearances. No one stood out for Williamstown. Their full forward, Brodie McLaughlin, he kicked 2 goals, 5, again off target. Now, Werribee's have lost 7 games this year. 6 of them have been by 21 points and under. They just cannot win at the moment. They are in serious danger of missing the top 10 now. They are on a knife's edge. Williamstown lead Werribee head-to-head at Point Gellibrand 28-9. Williamstown in great form. Now, match at Princess Park. Had a strange start time at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. North Melbourne knocked off Carlton by a point at Princess Park. 11-8-74 to 10-13-73. North have beaten Carlton twice this year now by 1 point and 2 points. Amazing. Now, Saturday night game at Frankston Oval saw Frankston beat Essendon by 6 points. 9-12-66 to 9-6-60. For Essendon, Elias Sardis, 37 possessions, 10 clearances. Their full forward managed to kick 5 goals as well, McMahon. Now, that is the first time Essendon and Frankston have played each other since round 3, 2022, 3.5 seasons ago. Frankston kept their finals chances alive, but that was an ugly win against a depleted Essendon team. Well, here we go. I said this was going to be a belting, but it wasn't. Complete opposite. The biggest upset of this year so far, without a doubt. Sydney defeated Southport by 6 points at Fankhauser Reserve. 12-20-92 to 12-14-86. The Sharks were 45 points up, 18 minutes in the third quarter. And from that point on, the Swans kicked the last 8 goals to pinch it. Quite remarkable. In the last quarter, Sydney kicked 5 goals 4 to 6 behinds. Now for Southport, Braden Crossley, 22 possessions, 44 hit-outs, 10 tackles, 9 clearances, 1 goal. For Sydney, Jake Lloyd, 39 possessions and a goal. Sydney also beat Southport last year at Fankhauser Reserve. Sydney's 2 wins have come against last year's grand finals, Werribee and Southport. That is quite remarkable. It's amazing when they have a few players coming back how much better they are. But that's a horrible loss for Southport. That could cost them a home final, a home double chance. Definitely upset of the season. Quite remarkable. There are two games on Sunday. GWS too good for Gold Coast, winning by 13 points at NG Stadium. 15-3, 93 to 12-8, 80. 9:15 a.m. start. That's just ridiculous. Josh Fay for GWS, 31 possessions, 14 marks and 2 goals. And the final game was at Docklands before the AFL game. Why they played there, I'll never know. They could have played at Whitten Oval, but anyway. Footscray beat Richmond by 45 points, 13-12-90 to 6-9-45. For Footscray, Riley Garcia again, 37 possessions, 10 clearances, and for Richmond, Jacob Blight, 26 possessions, 24 of them were kicks. He took 14 marks. Footscray flying. Now, because of the dumb fixturing, too many games on Saturday and nothing on Sunday, I only went to one game. That was at North Port Oval between Port Melbourne and Coburg. This is like a mini elimination final. Coburg got him. Amazing. Comeback. They won by 10 points. 11-11-77 to 8-19-67. It's pretty much an even first quarter. Port led at quarter time by a point, 2-5 to 2-4. Port got on top of them in the second quarter, 4 goals 4 to 1-4 in the second. Coburg 4 goals 1 to 2 goals 5 in the third quarter, and Coburg got him in the last quarter, 4 goals 2 to 5 behinds. Coburg were only 3 goals 8 at half time, and amazingly, they kicked 8-3 in the second half. They just swapped it around. Port Melbourne's last goal was 8 minutes into the third quarter, with a game-high lead of 27 points. They should have buried Coburg. They had the chance, and then they blew it. Then Coburg kicked the last 7 goals of the match. Port Melbourne's last 8 scoring shots were all behinds. Port Melbourne were the better side, but towards the end of that third quarter, I think the back half of the third quarter, probably the last 10 minutes, I think Coburg started to get on top. They started to get more looks. They kicked 3 goals. They blew that game, Port Melbourne. They had so many opportunities to ice the game, and they couldn't do it. It was a strong breeze, but it was tricky. It was blowing towards the grandstand. It was slightly favouring the Williamstown road end. Now, Coburg had 30 more possessions, but Port Melbourne had 16 more inside 50s and 17 more hitouts. The major goal kickers, Josh Tino Sante, he kicked 6 goals too, 16 possessions, 4 clearances. He was the difference. He was running hot. That's the best game that he's played for the club. His last 2 years has been exceptional. Jack Lefroy, good small forward. He kicked 3 goals. Well, they dropped Waitman, and Lefroy basically took his spot, and he did well. 2 players kicked 2 goals each for Port Melbourne. Tom Hoffert and Luca Alessio. Now, 5 Port Melbourne players kicked multiple behinds. It was contagious. The possessions, Donovan Tui for Coburg, 34 possessions. Jack Bytel, 28 possessions, 9 clearances. For the Borough, Charlie Lazaro, 31 possessions. Harvey Hooper, the skipper, 27 possessions, 8 clearances. Josh Green, he had a good game, 27 possessions, 10 tackles, 9 clearances. Let me tell you, the playing surface in some parts of the ground was dry. I'm not going to blame the club on that. It's not Port Melbourne's fault. I know it hasn't been much rain, and when it hasn't rained, there hasn't been much sunlight. I don't buy into that. I'm sorry. This is down to the council. They're an absolute disgrace. They pulled the pin on Saturday night games. So there's no that city's not making money now. I blame the council. They refuse to. They're not playing games there now. They haven't got the right groundsman, I believe. They haven't maintained that playing surface. They don't want to water it. It can't be that hard. They just don't want to spend money or waste time. Mate, it's not a good look, and it's embarrassing. With a club like Port Melbourne on that, mate, they should be doing better. But as I said, it's not entirely the club, it's the council. That was poor. That's a bad loss for Port Melbourne. Now, look at their home record this year. 1 win, 4 losses. Look at the scores they've kicked at home. 4-10, 7-13, 6-15. They won that game. 5-11, 8-19. That is pathetic. At home. 34, 55, 51, 41, 67. That's just garbage. That's why they're not playing finals. Head-to-head, in 174 games, Port Melbourne still lead head-to-head. 99-71 and 4 draws. So they're still looking for that 100th win against Coburg. That's a bad loss for Port. That's killed them. And another thing, they just keep getting their hopes up. They're not a good side. You keep chopping and changing. Every year it's the same thing with them. High hopes. Oh, we got former AFL players. There's a reason why they're not playing AFL, because they weren't good enough. They've got decent players, but they're not a good team. I've been saying this all along, and I'm not surprised. They're a Heckle and Jekyll side. They're not consistent, and you don't know what you're going to get. They were very good against North Melbourne last week at Arden Street, and this game, they blew this game, and Coburg just got them. Anyway, that's enough of that. Now, the margins, there were 6 games decided by 13 points and under. The average margin was only 15. 4 margins in single digits, 2 6s, a 3 and a 1. Let's look at the ladder. I'll go through it quickly. Box Hill on top, 36 points. The Sharks, Southport are 34. GWS, Footscray, Brisbane all 32. North Melbourne are 30. Williamstown, watch out, they're coming, 28. Collingwood 28. Richmond 28. Casey 26. That's the top 10. Coburg, Frankston, they play each other. They're both 24. They're still alive. I think you can forget the rest. Even Werribee. Werribee, Carlton, Geelong are 20. Port Melbourne are done. They're 18. Essendon 12. Suns 10. Sydney 8. Sandy are 6. Bull Ants nothing. The fixturing, poor again. Like I said, 2 games on Sunday. What are you supposed to do? One's at Marvel. You can't go. You can't go. You have to buy an AFL ticket, which is too expensive and exhausted, basically. And the other one was 9 o'clock in the morning in Sydney. What are people supposed to do? It's ridiculous. Stupid fixturing. Again. Now, round 14 games. Some interesting games here. Make or break now. There's 8 games. 5 teams have the bye. Essendon, Geelong, Werribee, Brisbane, GWS. There's a game Friday. Sydney play Footscray. That's a danger game for Footscray. Now, there's 6 games on Saturday. Gold Coast play Casey. Should be interesting. I'll probably go to this game. North Melbourne against Box Hill. That's at Arden Street. The Sharks play Collingwood. That's a cracker, that one. The Bull Ants play Richmond. Williamstown against Sandringham, their bogey team. The TV game. Port Melbourne against Carlton. Only 1 game on Sunday. Again, poor. But this is going to be an absolute cracker. It's at Coburg. Coburg against Frankston. 2 standalones. Winner survives. Loser will not play finals. I urge all the Coburg supporters and even the Frankston supporters or anyone that follows footy, get down to that game. It's going to be a grudge match. It's going to be an absolute crackerjack. Frankston got him last time with a poor umpiring decision. This is on. This is going to be on. Hopefully the weather's good. It's going to be an absolute belter. I'm going to be there. Another good week of footy. I'll see you next week.